But I'm hearing that we're ready for our first round feature match. So let's take a look at some of the deck lists here to break them down. It's a Viktor up first. And we haven't, I don't think we've seen a Viktor on stream yet.
No, we haven't seen a Viktor. We did analyze a Viktor deck, but we did not get to see an actual Viktor. Now, we were talking about how Viktor, a lot of people fear him because there's a lot that he can do. He makes those recruits, but I'm glad that we finally get to see him out and about today.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a look at this list. It seems pretty standard outside of two notable things.
Let's hear it.
The 3 faithful manufacturers. I haven't seen every Viktor list on this many. A lot of Viktors have kind of moved on to be more spell-focused or I guess like more effective units. I don't know how to say that in a better way, but like this is more of an Origins card from my understanding of how Viktors have been playing. So I like that we're still seeing it because it's a very efficient card. It gives you 2 bodies for essentially 3 might for the 3 energy cost, but you can split it across 2. So things like Wages of Pain then get more interesting and your recruit can go in and hit and blade, all the shenanigans, right? But still, 3 of that is a little notable, and also 3 Wages of Pain, the spell there. I think it's a really good meta read because we've seen a lot of like overzealous fans, a lot of tide turners, so a lot of units that this can hit across the board. But Wages of Pain is the type of card that often you will see come out of the main deck depending on the matchup because it doesn't actually get that much use against some of the higher range decks, especially like the Aurora decks. So I think it's good across a lot of the field, but maybe we'll see it come out. But this is like a pretty honest list. 3 ofs across the board.
Yeah.
Everything's a 3 of here.
Exactly. I'm super excited to see how Viktor plays today. He's going to be able to deal with some bigger units if he needs to with the Call of the Week, the Hidden Blade. So I'm really excited to see how Viktor is going to put it down versus his opponent. I see we've also got the Singularity, which will be able to kind of deal with a lot of units here. And these units don't have to be at a battlefield because it can deal that 6 to each of
anywhere
up
you
to
want to go.
2 units. So if you think you're going to play in your base, no, babes.
And
bring that here.
At this point, a lot of people also know the combos of Viktor. Things like Thousand Tail Watcher make the numbers really easy for cards like Bellows Breath to then spread, because this will decrease the might of every unit on your opponent's field by 3. And then if we take a look at Bellows Breath, you can spread 1 or 2 damage if you repeat cost it across 3 units at the same location. So like Thousand Tail Bellows Breath is like the big combo, or Bellows Breath plus Imperial Decree is the other combo, which is even cheaper because it's only 5 energy cost for the spell. You just don't get the body on top of it. But like these are the type of things that Viktor's going to do. It's just all kill, kill, kill. And this is what it's up against, Reagan.
Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm so excited. Finally, we're seeing a Fiona. Oh my gosh, y'all. I love Fiora. So I'm kind of looking at this deck list here, and it does look pretty standard. One thing that I have to point out is the Karma. I have not ran a Karma in my Fiona decks. I do call her Fiona.
I was wondering about that. I was
I'm
like,
so sorry.
Is this a Shrek reference? Or?
She is that girl. Another thing that I want to point out is the Fiora Victorious being the chosen champion here, rather than the one that readies a unit once they become mighty. Now, this Victorious unit is very strong because once you do get that additional buff to give her the 5 might, she not only is now mighty, but she can deflect, she has ganking, and she has shield. So this is perfect because you can tap that legend, get those runes exhausted, but also you just become that much bigger.
And I'm hearing from production that this is the only deck in the entire tournament that is running Karma.
Whoa!
That is fascinating. So this is not like a, oh, this is a new meta like shift. This is a new meta tech read from this specific player. Vves. Oh no, it's happening again.
Oh no.
We'll get confirmation hopefully of how to say their name, but this is clearly that this player just thinks that this card is worth running. So I had to remind myself what it did. It's 6 energy, 1 power cost for 6 might, vision as you see on your screen, which just means that when you play it, you can look at the top card of your deck and recycle it or keep it. But the key thing is when you recycle 1 or more cards, buff a friendly unit. Now that says cards, not just runes. So like if you recycle any cards from your main deck as well, you're able to do that. Now I don't think there's really anything that actually recycles from the main deck now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think that that's a really interesting option here.
I agree, and I was trying to see, well, first let me say it is Vves is the name of this player. Vves, yes. But I was like, okay, well, you do a lot of recycling with runes with Fiora sometimes, but at the end of that card, it does say runes are not cards. So I am kind of curious here how we are going to trigger this buff. I'm really interested. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see this deck in action. But another thing I want to point out is this Set. Okay, Set, he's a 4 might coming into the board, but he can get that much bigger because when you play him, you can buff him. When you conquer with him, you can buff him. So there's this special interaction where you play him, you spin the buff. Sometimes you can ready him with your first mate here, and then you can move in, conquer a battlefield, you get another buff. You can then spin that buff if you need to. You can, do we have challenge? We do, and then you can challenge someone in the back of a base if you need to, because he has then gotten that much bigger. Love this Set card. Love the artwork. He kind of fine. Anyways.
Very fun. Oh, okay. Okay, now we're getting it. There was a Set cosplayer actually out there.
Yes,
I keep hearing these sounds production throws into our ears, and I don't know if
they hear them.
I heard a whistle, and I don't know if the stream heard it, and now I don't know how to act. All right, they're going to stream, I'm hearing. That's confirmed. All right, well, I'm hearing that we're ready to hop into game, though, here.
Yes.
So let's see the players in action. Very fun deck lists. I think, again, it's a very honest Viktor. 3 ofs across the board, but Atlanta, or rather, the Fiora matchup a little different. So let's look at this Viktor versus Fiora matchup win rate. So this is probably Viktor's win rate, I'm assuming then.
Yeah.
So 66% win rate in Lille, and so far in Atlanta, a 67%. That is a massive win rate.
I'm not excited to see those numbers. I'm not going to lie to you. I am rooting for this Fiora. Vves, you got to hold it down one time for the one time. But I will say a lot of people do fear Viktor, and this is obviously why. That is a ridiculously high win rate.
So I'm going to assume a lot of it. Oh, also interesting, Viktor starting with Arena's Greatest as they're going first battlefield. That's also notable right there. Okay, we got some fun players on stage right now. Viktor's going to be going first, but if I had to posture a guess as to why the Fiora's win rate so low, it's because you only have the 3 ripostes for 3 spell negates, and Viktor's got so many spells. Like, you're never really going to have enough negates to stop all the kill spells, and you don't have as many units as the Fiora in some lists, so maybe that's why the win rate's so skewed.
Absolutely, and we already have a 2-cost. The Plundering Poro has been brought out for Viktor, and a first mate has been brought out already for Fiora. It looks like we're going to get a Lecturing Yordle next with 3 runes exhausted to bring that in. We're going to draw for turn. Both players, I want to notate, have collected their first point from the Arena's Greatest.
Yep, it's important to remember that. You have to actually trigger it at the start of your beginning phase. And I'm just going back to that Karma. Like, did I miss something? I must have missed something.
I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see that be brought out and how it's used.
I can't imagine you're just using it as a 6 energy, 1 recycle, 6 might with vision. That doesn't feel like a very efficient card. Maybe they just love Karma.
Maybe,
Maybe
the artwork was
yeah.
phenomenal. I can't even lie.
We'll have to chat with them afterward.
Absolutely. So we've got 3 units on the board because that recruit was brought in from the Viktor, but we're looking to see what Vves is going to do with his only lonely first mate. It looks like, did we pass?
Yeah, it's interesting the Plundering Poro did not move in. The runes have readied on Vves' turn, so they've started their turn. Plundering Poro could have gotten a point and a gold gear, but RiftboundPlus instead opting to save the unit, save the resource.
All right, it looks like we're moving into Arena's Greatest, and we're going to see if anything is to be done.
Yeah, this makes sense. You don't want to go into Monastery of Harana until you have something buffed. Right. So, yep, send it into the Arena's Greatest. Just get the point. Save the draw for Monastery for potentially your next turn. Because, yeah, and here it is. So we're going to play the Set.
And boom, just like that, Set is coming out. So he's going to get that buff immediately because he is played. Going to tap that Legend and draw 1 rune, Exhausted.
Such an efficient card for Fiora.
Yes.
I actually tried to practice in Fiora, but I only had 2 sets. The 3 feels really good.
Yes.
And I, unfortunately, in all my testing, I never drew it. When you only have 2, you just don't see it as much. But, man, that card in Fiora plus your Grand Duelist Legend means that you just don't even pay the power cost for it, and it's such a good unit on its own. It feels like, yes, set has its own legend, but it almost feels like it was designed for the Fiora legend.
It really does. A lot of those 4 mites, especially, like, obviously the Fiora, feels like it was designed for Fiora. But, yeah, there's a lot of those 4 mites that, when they get buffed, Akshan is another one.
You know, I have a theory, actually. Maybe the Fiora legend was designed for the units. All right, there's Wages of Pain. And these are the type of matchups that you actually do get some value out of Wages of Pain, because First Mate is in a lot of orange decks.
Yes, and we're going to go ahead and spin that set buff via Call to Glory, so he does not have to exhaust any runes because there was a buff on the board. You can spin that buff and immediately give a 3 might to a unit. It doesn't matter where the buff is coming from or where the might is going.
Yeah.
You can just spin it and give it.
This is another one of those ones from Origins that I kind of overlooked at first, because you look at it, you're like, not that many decks like make buffs. It's 3 energy, but the way people have realized, it's just such an efficient tool in decks like Fiora, in decks like Set themselves, any deck that just makes buffs. This is a free spell, essentially, and it's reaction speed, which is the key part, because you can react to spells, whereas a lot of the other things, specifically in Orange, are action speed. So they're not able to do the same stuff that Call to Glory can in these yellow-orange decks.
Yeah, and when you're kind of caught in a pickle and you got your runes down, it's so efficient to just go ahead and pull that out and not have to spend anything. The Lecturing Yordle is going to come out. We're fully exhausted on the side of Viktor, so we're going to go ahead and pass our turn here.
Really?
Oh, did we not pass our turn?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna. You got to score points eventually.
When they pick up their cards, right? I'm like, okay, we're passing.
Yeah,
but I think we're
not
just
readied anything, so we have not reached the A Awaken phase in the A.
I'm just so excited for this Fiora, man. Yeah. I just want to see more gameplay.
I can tell. But if you're RiftboundPlus, I mean, you at least have a recruit, so you got to start scoring points at some point. I still think the Poro, you like the gold gear, and it's only 1 might more. It's basically a recruit. So usually in this instance, I'm happy to send the Poro, but he didn't even send the Poro last turn. So
nope.
We'll see what RiftboundPlus's game plan is here. Important to note, I did not see the Grand Stratagem in the main deck, unless I missed it. I don't think it was in there. So that means that you're not playing the Viktor that's like, I'm going to make a gigantic army and then just make it huge. You are opting to instead kind of use these snipe spells to do damage, and then like Imperial Decree as the use for the army. So, yeah, we do send the Poro.
Yes, so the Poro goes ahead and collects that point, but also collects a gold gear for conquering, and then we're going to pass our turn. I'm curious to see, did we pick up another set? I think we picked up another set in hand, so we're going to have some good might on the board here shortly, I'm sure.
Vves holds for 1, and we'll get another point, because with RiftboundPlus tapped out and nothing hidden, there's no hidden blade or anything, and yeah, this is pretty good.
Boom, the Pit Rookie is going to come in, and whenever that Pit Rookie drops down, you get to buff another unit. So we're going to go ahead and give that buff to Set, because then we can tap our Legend and bring in another rune Exhausted. We're going to go in and try to start a showdown, but that resolves fairly quickly, so we're going to go ahead and collect another point with Set.
And here we're going through the motions of Set spending the buff at the Monastery of Harana to draw the card, and when Set conquers, he gets another buff. And Vves actually picked up a different buff. He put the 1 buff on the left and picked one up from the right. So that buff's still on the left there.
So we're also going to go ahead and bring out a Doran's Blade and equip that to the Pit Rookie. So now he's mighty. Now our Legend is already exhausted, so we won't be tapping again. But we get a little bit mightier.
Yeah, and we're trying to hold against the Viktor. Kind of a bold move, but also you're forcing the Viktor to use resources. This is a game plan that I actually really like, and I haven't seen as many of the players so far on stream utilize, is like, just use your cards against me. It's not like the most efficient thing, because this, I imagine it's not going to live long. Actually, the Set is probably the more juicy target to go for, but either way, it's like, if you want to get through the 5 might, you're going to have to use a spell, and that means you won't have that spell. The Fiora only gets 3 counter spells, which we do have enough runes for a riposte, so Vves might even be able to do that. But in these types of matchups, especially when the win rate is so skewed, don't let your opponent ramp, make them use their resources, and then try and score points as fast as you can. And that's exactly what Vves is doing right now, is he's already at 4 points. You have another body back in the base, so you can assume you're going to get a 5th point on the next turn. And you're going to force RiftboundPlus to use some of those powerful Viktor spells in order to get onto these battlefields.
Absolutely. And it looks like RiftboundPlus is really just going through the motions here, making sure that he has the resources to deal with these units on the board, because they have gotten to a point where they're going to be a little costly. It is going to be a little costly. We have a 2 might, a 1 might, and a 2 might.
Yeah,
so
that would crash with either side of the battlefield right
exactly.
now.
So let's see.
Well, have you spotted anything in their hand? I know that you're pretty.
There is a singularity in RiftboundPlus's hand, but it looks like we're going to save that. Instead, we're going to Imperial Decree.
Yeah, I think the reason to do something like this instead of going for the Singularity is that Singularity is a bigger spell that you know they could use Riposte. There's enough runes on Fiora's side that's always an option. So you're going for the cheaper spell, so that way you have more runes to work with if this doesn't go through. Because at this point, against Fiora, just statistically, they've seen enough cards. I'm assuming they have at least one Riposte.
Yes.
And if you're looking at the math of like drawing one of your 3 ofs, and you have 2 mulligans, that means you've seen 7 cards, and it's what, been 3 more turns since then. So that's 10 cards, 10 out of 40. You want your 3 ofs. But it was not negated, so Vves is not going to answer that, and that means that these recruits, these bodies can be used as resources, but even so, you have to use the bodies as resources. So again, Vves is losing his units, but that's a power spell used by RiftboundPlus, and 2 of the bodies are going to be gone. Now, Viktor makes a lot of bodies, so I think it's probably fine, but this might change things.
The Bellows Breath, interesting. So we're going to go ahead and recycle 2 here for Bellows Breath repeated, so that we can...
So we're going to do 1 damage to each. They'll still die. So that Death Grip was just for the draw. Because you're still taking damage. The Imperial Decree is still going to kill you, because anytime a unit takes damage, they die. So Vves has a reaction speed spell, but it's just to dig. This is actually now disastrous for Vves. I was just kind of laying out like, okay, I think the Fiora's in a decent spot, but RiftboundPlus showed us one of those strong Viktor combos. It's the Imperial Decree into the Bellows Breath. Now, if it had just been the Imperial Decree, I think Vves is still in a good spot, but the fact that RiftboundPlus had both with the correct curve for it, and even enough to use your Viktor passive, you get a recruit back in base. That means Vves is now heavily behind. You're not going to score a point this turn, you have to imagine. And you maybe only 1 unit. Like, you need to get a 2nd unit, because now Cold a Week is insane value for RiftboundPlus. And Viktor has not played one of those yet.
100%. Now, I will say the Fiora, the chosen champion, has come out into the board. Now, I do know Vves 100% has other units in hand. It's just going to take us a little bit to get those onto the board. But like you said, there are some cards from Viktor that might just make it a little scary.
I'd say First Mate is the ideal one, because you can ready the Fiora, go in and get a point. And then also just have another unit. Because the thing about Cold a Week is both players select the unit that they kill. If you ever have a deck, especially for the Aurelia players out there, PSA, never leave your 1 big unit alone against any Viktor matchup. Even like a lot of Azir matchups. I know like the winning deck list in Alil didn't have it. That's scary too, because this is a bigger unit. So like that Cold a Week will come down and kill something of pretty high value. And it's going to get through the deflect cost, because you're not targeting a unit, your opponent is selecting the unit. So this is not ideal for Vves.
And it looks like we're going to pass turn. RiftboundPlus is going to collect those 2 points here, and we're going to go ahead and ready all of our runes and draw for turn. I saw that Vves was looking at his trash pile. One thing that Fiora plays is Spectral, which allows you to bring back a unit from your graveyard.
Yeah, Spectral Maiden.
Yes.
Matron, sorry.
I'm excited to see maybe we've got that in hand. I wasn't able to peek at his hand, honestly.
But we did get a peek at RiftboundPlus's hand earlier. You had noted that there was a Singularity, and Vves is all tapped out, exhausted on the rune. So you can't riposte this. You just lose 2 units. This is even worse than the Cold a Week. And And it looks like we're just going to game 2. Yeah, Vves is a no-nonsense type gamer. You understand when you've lost, and I think from that position, it's just impossible to come back.
It is just a little rough, a little tough, but that's okay. We're going to reset and go into game 2 here shortly. For Battlefields, it looks like we've got Treasure Hoard for Viktor, and we've got Trifarian War Camp for Fiora. Love the smile.
Yeah, Vves is in his own head, like, okay, how do I handle this, man? That was oppressive. And we see why the matchup is so strong for Viktor. You have so many answers for so few units if Fiora's putting out. Viktor's weak against like decks that go wide, that get a lot of units out there because, you know, your Cold Weak's not as good, your Singularity can hit 2 things, but if they're smaller in size, you don't feel as good about it. Bellows Breath still gets a lot of value, but like, you know, you're not as teched out for those specific matchups, and you're also not as teched out for like the green matchups that have these counterspells. Fiora is like none of those. You have the 3 counterspells in the riposte, but they're kind of expensive counterspells.
Yes.
And then you don't have the same ability to go like super wide. You have some units, like even here the Unsung Hero coming out, but in general you have like a couple of medium to big stat units as opposed to a bunch of little guys.
All right, so a couple call-outs here as we tap our legends and bring in a recruit and pass our turn. Unsung Hero has been brought in by Vves. Now that is going to win Mighty, draw 2. So if we are able to equip it with something or give it some buffs, this, that, and the other, we might be able to draw 2 off of it. But we're going ahead and we're bringing in the Fiora to make sure that we can conquer and hold.
Interesting call here. He did not use, RiftboundPlus did not use Cold a Week. I think that we're going to see a Wages of Pain on the Unsung Hero into a Cold a Week. I imagine that could be the play because you can just deal with the Fiora right away, and then there's no units. Yeah, he's got the runes for it.
And just like that, the Wages of Pain does come down, but I do know there is a riposte in Vves' hand, but it looks like we're going to let that go through.
Well, there's no runes.
There's no runes.
There's no runes because it's only turn 2. Like,
yep.
You feel good against a Cold a Week. Again, I keep saying Cold a Week because that's like every time you play Viktor, it's just always in your mind because everyone's been punished by it, so we're traumatized.
Yeah.
Once you're traumatized from a Cold a Week, you're like, oh, just get another unit out there. But then RiftboundPlus still has enough. Now, will they use the Cold a Week? Because they didn't do it turn 1, which also would have been a pretty optimal play because you denied the point from Vves. I feel like it's the obvious choice right now.
We're shuffling through, we're thinking, oh, it looks like we might just go in and conquer a battlefield for a point real quick, and then we're going to pass. So,
yeah, I guess the argument for this line instead is that he's passing priority, I believe. I don't think it's Vves' turn yet. But the reason for not using Cold a Week here is that you don't deramp, because we do see Vanguard's Armory in RiftboundPlus' hand, which means that yeah, okay, so we're actually making the gold gear. So RiftboundPlus is playing a more patient line where it's, okay, I'm not going to deal with the immediate threats. I'm going to let Vves score a couple of points, establish a little bit of a board, because that's not going to deram me. We haven't used either gold token, and now we have 2 that are going to be ready on our next turn. Plus, we'll have the ramp for the Vanguard's Armory or the ability to pivot, and this means that we don't, lose out as much.
Alrighty, so
does Fiora just have ganking?
She does not have ganking until she is mighty, but the
Trifarian
War Camp does give her that +1 buff to give her that. So she can't gank back, but she can gank over because she is mighty at that 1 point.
Yeah, that's actually really fun. I like that a lot.
One of Fiora's greatest battlefields for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Fiora is also just one of those legends that the longer people had to cook on it, the better it got.
Absolutely. And the first mate is going to come in with 3 runes exhausted to move that Fiora back to base, and then we are going to pass turn.
Scary. So there are now enough runes up for the riposte.
Yes. So I did spot that in hand. So just know once it does come out, we do have an answer for it. So we're probably going to be seeing those 2 runes kept up every turn from now on.
And because Vves has the resources, this is the danger of RiftboundPlus not using that Cold a Week at the opportunity it was presented, is that now riposte is a defensive tool, and Fiora can just go back into Trifarian War Camp, trigger the Fiora Legend again, get more runes. The Fiora is kind of getting off the ground, but I also said the same thing about Vves in Game 1, and we saw that the wheels were, like, they fell off fully. And, like, RiftboundPlus could also play a slower game. It's not like the game's going to end in 2 turns even. It's going to take 3 turns. So you could just play your Vanguard's Armory and just make a bunch of recruits, score a point here, pass, you know, and then next turn you get 3 more recruits. Turn after that you get 3 more recruits. You know that you're going to have the time to do that.
It looks like we're thinking about it. I saw it in hand, but we're just going to move that recruit in to score a point, and we're passing priority.
Yep.
And then boom.
Okay. So RiftboundPlus, again, there's always a decision tree. Anytime I say like, oh, this is what I think they could do, and then they do something else, it's because you never, like, once you make one decision, you're kind of locked into one line and you can't go back. And especially if it's a line that deramps your runes, you really can't go back when you have the Vanguard's Armory in hand. So RiftboundPlus is showing that as an experienced Viktor player, no, I'm just going to make sure I continue to ramp my runes. Now at this point that it's already established, now we can start to decelerate our runes. But
let's go ahead.
A lot of information.
Let's look into this hand real quick. I want to see what we got.
I like how he just put the cold a week there. He's like, you're going to probably take this. But,
he knows.
Actually, Singularity is pretty juicy too.
As we spread them out, we've got Bellows Breath, we've got a Stupefy, we've got a Cold a Week, a Hidden Blade, which is also good, and Singularity, which is also good. That's a good hand. A lot of answers for a lot of units.
This is a fantastic hand for a Viktor, but this is also kind of what you expect. It's just going to be a lot of spells. And now that I see the full hand, it actually does make more sense that you went for the Vanguard's Armory. You want bodies. You want the ability to score points. And once you have that, then you can start dealing with the board. So the key things to note here is Bellows Breath. We saw the combo with Imperial Decree. We don't see an Imperial Decree yet, but we do have like a Hidden Blade that we can use on our own unit to draw more cards, and then combo with Bellows Breath. So that's probably on Yves' mind as well. The Cold Week or the Singularity are the immediate, like, bigger hits now.
Yeah.
But the strength of the combo means that there's also an argument maybe it's the Bellows Breath, because then you put your own opponent needing 2 cards in the combo as opposed to just finding 1 more.
Right, exactly. So it looks like we took note of the cards that are shown face up right here, and we're kind of thinking through what do we actually want to get rid of. It looks like we're coming to a decision.
Hidden Blade.
Hidden Blade is going to be the one instead of Cold a Week.
This kind of hits both that I was talking about. It's like, do you deal with the card that's a threat right now or the card that's a threat once you have the combo? This is kind of part of the way to dig for the combo, and it's a threat right now because you can use it offensively or on your own recruit to draw cards. So, yeah, don't hate the call from Yves there. It's a tough call to make. Like, I honestly don't know offhand. I don't play enough Fiora to know like what the correct threat is here, but I see the reason why Yves would do that.
Yeah, I like the insight. And then immediately we're going to move that readied Fiora into the Trifarian War Camp to go ahead and take care of that recruit and score another point. And we might be about to, yes, score another point with the first mate on Treasure Hoard.
Okay, now do we make the gold gear? Fiora does have a decent amount of you know, power costs. It does not look like we're doing it, though. We're just going to play the set.
And this is, if I remember correctly, the 3rd set that we've seen. So it's the 3rd and last, if I remember correctly.
We saw one in
the 3rd
game 1.
Oh, that is, dude, the games are coming together.
But the worst part is I also have a memory of a gold. So, like, I'm not confident in that call.
Okay, yes.
But I believe that Yves has already used the Fiora legend when he sent Fiora into the Trifarian War Camp. I think I did see that. So I believe that's what that hang up there was. Yves was saying, wait, did I already use that because it was already exhausted? Or did I forget to unexhaust it? And the beauty of moments like this, I always like think in my head is like somebody in chat right now was paying full attention.
Yes.
And it's like, obviously it was this.
Yeah. No, I truly am just so immersed in the fact that Fiora is on my screen right now. Like,
you're living
so
it.
happy.
You're living it right now. Yeah, how do you feel about the Viktor matchup? Have you played against this matchup?
I haven't played against the Viktor, but I have played against Azir, and that matchup is normally, for me, in favor of Fiora. But I haven't played against many Viktors.
Okay.
I find them rare at the Nexus Knights right now.
Yeah, they've fallen off somewhat in popularity. They're not one of like the top. Actually, they might be in the top 10 represented. I think they like just edged in, but they were I'd say more popular in the Origin format as kind of like this like the rogue dark horse threat of the tournament. But we're seeing why they're still pretty solid right now. Is the play style is very spell heavy and just little little guys,
Absolutely.
little recruits. So I don't really gravitate towards a playstyle, but I think it is a cool playstyle nonetheless.
Oh my gosh, and the Singularity is going to come out for that 6 damage to each unit of first mate and set. Are we going to respond? We are.
And we have the Riposte in hand for Vves. So that will be counterspelled. But again, a reminder, this isn't always bad. I know that it's like, oh, you can read that he's got it, but you got to get through them at some point. Like, the threat of the Riposte will always be there. Maybe you can try and bait it out with a smaller spell, but, like, I don't think that Cold a Week's going to bait that out at this point. So you just accept that, yep, now there's one less Riposte to worry about. Statistically, now it's less likely that Vves has a second one in hand. I don't know the exact math numbers here, but I would assume that Vves shouldn't. It would be a slight statistical outlier for Vves to have another one already.
And the second thing to note here is that when you counter a spell, you get that might on a unit. So even though the legend is exhausted, you can't channel another rune, you still get to make one of your units a lot bigger. I
imagine you go first mate here just so that the 3 recruits can't crash into it, because first mate's kind of the nice Cold a Week protection. Currently, like, you don't really care if this unit dies as the Fiora. I know it's like a 3 might, but still for Fiora, that's like one of the smallest units that you're gonna have. So probably there, but we'll see where Vves decides to put it, because there's not like a lot. There's not a lot in Viktor that will like increase the strength. Maybe Stupefy, and actually Vves does know that Stupefy is there, so you could Stupefy the Fiora, but then you pay the deflect cost, and it gets like a little scary. So
exactly,
I like
she's
this.
sitting on that Trifarian war camp right now, so she does have that deflect, that shield, all of that.
But also, now I am realizing that I totally forgot about the Trifarian war camp. That's a 5 might. This is gonna be 6 might attacking in. Okay, actually, now you know what? I'm gonna walk that one back. A little reverse. Maybe Riposting the Fiora did make more sense at that point. I always forget about Trifarian War Camp. It's one of those ones that just doesn't exist in my brain. And there should still be 1 recruit alive there. Did that get flipped around to that buff that I see on screen? I was busy doing my little funny rewind animation.
It was +1/+1/+1.
So that'd be 6 might attacking on 5.
Right. But it looks like we're going to Cold the Week, and so we are going to let go of that first mate still.
Well, did we score the point from RiftboundPlus? Because you're going to lose a unit from the Cold Week anyway, but it's important to have the point. I didn't. Again, I was looking at you doing a rewind animation. I probably should have been paying attention to the game state. I'll do better.
No, I will also do better to not be so animated here. And it looks like we're going to possibly do something with all of these runes that we have up now.
Okay, yeah, there's no runes on Viktor's side. Vves has 5 points to 2. You're not going to win this turn, but you can set yourself up to win the following turn. The scary thing is you don't have a lot of units, only 1 on the board, so it's not a developed board for Fiora, even if it is a developed and ramped rune setup. You got to find a way to get more bodies out there, because Viktor's never going to run out of spells. Like, we already know that there's a Stupefy in hand, which will at the very least get you another draw on top of making the set vulnerable to the 4 recruits that are already visible. So at the very least, Viktor can crash with what Vves has currently. That's just the known information. Then there's 2 cards unknown, plus the 1 card that Stupefy draws, which will be unknowns. And was there anything else? I know that it was we got rid of the Hidden Blade. There was a Cold Awake, Singularity, Stupefy.
I don't think we've seen the Bellows Breath.
Bellows Breath, yeah, there's a Bellows Breath as well, yeah.
I don't think we've seen that quite yet, so that is still there for possibility, but it looks like Vves has been checking his notes to try and make sure he's accounting for everything that could be in hand right now for RiftboundPlus.
Yeah, this is a pivotal turn. You want to take your time on moments like this, because you're already down 1 game in the series, and even though you're ahead in points, that can easily slip away against the Viktor matchup as Fiora. Again, it was a 66% win rate in Lille for Viktor. That means Fiora's only won 34% of their games versus Viktor's.
Wow.
And it's even worse in Atlanta this weekend at 67%. It's only 1% increase, and the event's not over yet, but not great is got to the point of the story when it's consistent across 2 events like that.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and move the set in real quick and get that additional point here. And then we're going to get the buff back because we spent it, and we're going to get that Conquer buff back. It looks like we're exhausting the 5 and recycling 1 so that we can bring in that second set, and we're going to give a buff to him because when we play him, we get a buff, and we're going to go ahead and pass our turn.
So this time, I don't think the Fiora was exhausted, but either way, it's just 2 sets on the board. Not the strongest position, but with 2 runes up, maybe Vves has another riposte. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's got to be under 50% odds to have a second riposte at this point, I would have to imagine. So RiftboundPlus can probably play with a relative amount of confidence that if you get like a Singularity or an Imperial Decree or something like that, that it's going to go through. And if not, again, I mean, like, sure, you still can assume Vves won't win the next turn. It would be hard for the Fiora to get 2 points with only 1 set on the back. But this is a really strong card here that Victors have started adding, the Xin Zhao.
Wow, and the Xin Zhao does come out to play with the 3 runes exhausted, 1 recycled, and we're going to see Xin Zhao go ahead and enter ready, by the way. So he can immediately do something with this unit straight out the bat.
4 might, which means it would crash with the set currently because the Stupefy lowered the might, which basically cancels out the buff. So it's just 4 might on the set. Now, there's a potential of like punch first, even like the Triumph that we saw in game number 1 at reaction speed. So it's not like guaranteed if you just throw Xin Zhao in there. Let's see what RiftboundPlus wants to do. RiftboundPlus is doing the thing where you tap all of your runes, exhaust all your runes before going for the play. If you know you're going to attack, I'm always a fan of reversing that order. If you plan on attacking anyway, just attack. Because then your opponent has to guess, like, there's untapped runes, unexhausted runes. Like, what could they have in combat? There's not a lot that Viktor would have. It'd be like Hidden Blade, maybe. But it still makes them guess. Whereas now, Vves has much more information in this combat of like, okay, there's not enough runes for a Hidden Blade. I know that that's not an option for the Viktor. So you can play with much more confidence to, like, use the punch first and save the unit.
I like how Vves has targeted this treasure hoard here instead of the Trifarian War Camp because he knows he only has 1 unit on the board, and RiftboundPlus has a lot of those little recruits, so they're going to get that much mightier just trying to swing into that battlefield. So we're trying to decide who we want to send in right now and where we want to send them. We also brought in the Viktor, the champion unit here, because when another non-recruit unit you control dies, aka this Xin Zhao that we have on the board now, we can get a recruit in his honor.
And that's why RiftboundPlus would do this move, because you get at least a recruit. But in my mind, I'm like, you have the Vanguard's armor. I don't think that 1 recruit is doing that much work when you don't have the Grand Stratagem in the deck. If we were instead going for like the Imperial Decree line, like 1 extra 1 might isn't that much. But again, obviously, I'm going to defer to the player that has way more experience on the Viktor than myself. But now, again, the cost of doing this type of play is Vves knows there's really nothing that they can do. Maybe like another Stupefy or the Bellows Breath is an action speed spell. But a punch first would go through and would save this set.
And so with the 6 might of the 2 recruits and the 4 from the Xin Zhao, it looks like we might have a response here, and we're going to spend a buff instead of...
no, this is Death Grip, not Triumph. So this
we're going to kill the set to give that might. Yes, that one's a little bit more costly, and we're going to give that might to the set to try and protect him.
I saw a Hidden Blade drawn as well from Vves there, because the Death Grip lets you draw afterwards.
And I love that. I love to see that. So we've got an additional 5 might for the rest of this turn, and instead RiftboundPlus is just going to go to the Trifarian War Camp and get that additional point.
So that's a point for RiftboundPlus, but Vves is on the precipice of a victory in Game 2 here. You're going to hold for a point. And then we also can maybe have like a first mate. We can bring the set back, play the first mate, ready the set. Again, we are completely exhausted, except for 1 rune, I think I see there. I'm assuming that that's actually in play from RiftboundPlus, but that's the Bellows Breath or Stupefy. Like that's really the only things that Viktor could have, unless they like hide a Hidden Blade.
All right, it looks for reinforcement. So we're going to have a total of 4 might there on the side. And we're going to bring that up to 6 with the additional recruit from Viktor's legend being exhausted.
I think you put 1 more out there at least.
What if we do two?
Too safe, yeah. So I think RiftboundPlus realized the similar line of like, yeah, Set can move back to base, spend the buff to jump up to 8 might, and then like a first mate would ready it and send it in. That makes 9 might. So currently with 5 1 might recruits, that's 10 defending. Vves would need to have like a first mate plus a punch first, or a first mate plus a triumph, something else in the tank to actually pull this off.
Yeah, something is going to have to give if we want to get this 8th point. So we are going to move the Set back, and oh, it looks like it's happening. So the buff does get spent. Maybe there is a pit rookie in hand that could give another buff to Set so that he can get that additional 4 might. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can spend multiple in 1 turn as, ooh,
and the Spectral he was digging through that graveyard all game, y'all. So we're going to bring back a first mate, so it's ready.
Got it.
The BF sword, we're getting that equipped. It's happening. We're moving in. We've got so much might here.
It is 8 plus the 3 from BF Sword is 11, plus the 1 from Teferian Warcamp is 12, and against 10, that will clear, and that will score the 8th point for Vves. Well done, game 2.
Let's freaking go. We've got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. It is 1-1. And honestly, can I just point out, I love how RiftboundPlus is enjoying this game of Riftbound, man. Still smiling, still having fun. I think he likes the challenge.
Having a good time. Also, I just noted, because I didn't realize at first, it was Fiora that had Teferian Warcamp.
Yeah.
Fiora just beat Viktor with a Vanguard's Armory, playing their own Teferian Warcamp. That's crazy.
It's a great Fiora
Viktor's on that.
battlefield because, as you saw, Fiora made use of that ganking power just off of that battlefield. You're able to pick up those extra points if you have that on the field. Yeah,
you use it to great effect. But now, RiftboundPlus playing the Void Gate. This will make your Bellows Breath hit harder. It'll make your Singularity hit harder. Those are the 2 big ones. And we know that RiftboundPlus was on just like 3 ofs pretty much across the board. Meanwhile, Fiora's going for more draw power with the Sunken Temple. But with Viktor going first, let's see what they do.
And if you notice here, y'all, the Chosen Champion has been changed. This is now the Fiora that came out of that sideboard where when your units become mighty, you can recycle 1 yellow rune and you can ready them. So sometimes first mates aren't needed or first mates aren't in hand. Instead, we can use this legend. Now, this is only available when it's on the field, of course, but the fact that it's here means that we're going to see some awesome plays.
And I see a lot of Fioras pivot to this one when they are assuming they're going second because you're on the odd number of runes, and it is an odd energy cost. So you can either play it turn 1 if you have nothing else, or you can just like do what Vves is doing right now, Unsung Hero. Next turn, maybe play something else turn after that. Like Fiora can be played, and then you're back on the even runes, which is kind of the majority of cards outside of I suppose the set. So, but Viktor's doing Viktor things. You're just making your recruits. There's already 1 out there on Void Gate. We play the Faithful Manufacturer plus the Legend ability. So the army is building.
It is building, and it builds so quickly. I feel like things can get out of hand real quick with Viktor. But we do have our Unsung Hero. There is an open battlefield. It just depends on if we want to move to it. So we're shuffling through, we're thinking, and it looks like we're going to play a pit rookie to buff that Unsung Hero. Now remember, Unsung Hero, once it becomes mighty, you can draw if it dies.
Yeah.
So we're just making her a little bit buffer. She's got 3 might now.
Okay, here we go.
Then boom, she's mighty.
Yeah, I think BF Sword's the classic combo with the Unsung Hero, but then you can also do this, where you buff it plus the Doran's Blade still gets you up to that 5 might. So like you're saying, if it dies, you get value off it, but it's also a 5 might unit, so we can just go in and start swinging on stuff, and it's kind of hard to deal with.
And as you see, you also get to make use of your legend there and get more runes because she is now mighty. So very valuable here, and you get to get RiftboundPlus off of that holding point with the recruit.
RiftboundPlus is taking some time to think about the next play.
I mean, I would too with that 5 might Unsung Hero.
Also, I got to ask you something because I think we have a little time before the next action. How do you feel about players that have their runes like RiftboundPlus, where some are face up, some are face down.
Okay, so I'm very much a Yves type of person
Yeah,
where
I'm OCD about it.
my runes have to be cute and pretty and in order. Maybe that's a little OCD of me,
no,
but
100% for me.
I'm looking at Riftbound+ and I'm like, brother, if you don't turn those runes around.
I did such a good job of not pointing it out for the first 2 games, and I can't. I can't do it anymore. I had to point it out.
Hey,
and
but
there's no shame. I mean, like, some people, like, they have no issue with it. I'm like, yeah, I can't control what you do with your runes. But my roommate knows if he's trying to tilt me, he just, like, turns one.
I'm done.
No.
I gotta put some respect on Riftbound+'s name, because a lot of people do have the blinged out, overnumbered or all art runes, but he's rocking the base runes, and I like that. I like
base
that.
Art Viktor, base art legend, you know?
It's pretty fire because he's out here speaking with the gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have to have the flashy cards. He doesn't need all of that. He out here thinking with his mind, and y'all gonna respect that.
The shiny promo pack on Unsung Hero, Dawn's Blade.
Yep.
We got a different philosophy between these 2 gamers as Singularity will hit the board.
Singularity is going to target both the Unsung Hero and the Pit Rookie. But I don't think it matters because we get to draw 2.
Yeah, but I still like it. It's tough. They're always going to get the 2 draws. Viktor doesn't have ways to remove other than just killing. And this is one of the few moments that Yves has given with no 2 runes up for the riposte. Because we saw in that game, too, it was tough. Riftbound+ wasn't able to play through a lot of those turns because there was always the 2 runes up. So taking the opportunity now to just have an efficient spell.
Absolutely, and I do want to say I do see a Cold of the Week in Riftbound+'s hand.
Yeah.
So
Lecturing Yordle, another faithful manufacturer.
Well, the Fiora is going to hit the board here, and she is going to become mighty. So we might spend a rune to ready her. And we do. And we're going to go in and go ahead and try and take care of this recruit here on Sunken Temple. We don't want any hold points right now, so we're just going to go ahead and deal with that.
Get a point, and then also trigger the Sunken Temple, exhausting a rune to draw a card, and another Unsung Hero.
Another Unsung Hero, yes, does enter the board. I do think...
Did he pay the runes for that second Unsung Hero?
I do believe so.
No, because he paid 3 for the Fiora. And then
he recycled,
tapped 1 for the Sunken Temple, and then recycled for the Dorn's Blade, tapped the Fiora, recycled for the Fiora. Okay, maybe he did, because there were 2 recycle costs, and then Fiora channel 1. I don't know, yeah, either way. Unsung Hero's on the board. That's important for the Cold of Week, okay?
It is. So
Cold of Week is now not going to just kill the Fiora instantly.
Yes, I see in hand we've got the Lecturing Yordle, we've got the Cold of the Week. I do believe we have an Imperial Decree and a Thousand Tail Watcher. I'm just trying to give y'all a little bit more information here on what Riftbound+ has in hand, so you can kind of get behind the logic and the reasoning and of the decision making. I do believe we're bringing out that Lecturing Yordle here in just a moment. I don't want to say it until the card drops down. And then boom, yes. So with 3 runes exhausted, we're bringing in the Lecturing Yordle. So he's going to get to draw 1 off of that play. And we're going to see what else.
There's an Imperial Decree.
Yes.
And we're just going to make more bodies. Yeah, I don't think we have the tools right now for Riftbound+ to actually clear the Fiora. Again, because Unsung Hero is kind of protecting that. So instead, it's just going to be bodies on the board.
Bodies on the board and...
What the bodies?
Yeah, I was going to say no bodies on the floor. But we are going to go ahead and ready our units.
That should be Viktor's theme song.
Honestly, yes. Like, I could see him blasting
I'm not going to sing it again because, again, copyright. I don't know how those laws work.
All right.
I was paranoid about it.
We're moving the Fiora back to base, trying to keep her safe. There's a lot of units on the other side as of right now, but we're shuffling through. It looks like, oh, he's just lining up the runes. Yeah.
A lot
and that's something that you love to see as Fiora, because you can... You have a lot of choices. You have a lot of units. I do know that he has a set in hand. I did see that drawn.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are the big plays that you're trying to do as Fiora at this point? When you have this many runes to play with, like, what do you feel the best playing right now?
I would be looking for that other Fiora. That is the Fiora that I love to play with, because you get that ganking. You can score those 2 points in one turn, especially now that you have this other Fiora on the board. So you can, with the Fiora's passive, if she gets mighty, you can then ready her, gank over to the other battlefield. That's my favorite play to always.
We have both Fioras.
The Karma is here. I'm
here.
very excited to see what are we doing with this unit.
Okay,
what is the play?
So I am realizing, technically Karma's vision ability does recycle, so you kind of are forced to, but then it will trigger Karma to be, you recycled one or more cards, so you can buff a friendly unit. So maybe that's the idea, is you're forced to use the vision to put the card on the bottom and then you get a buff, so it's essentially like a 6 might, or a 7 might. 6 energy, 1 recycle, and then that 1 buff can like trigger your legend ability. But I didn't see any other way to recycle. So I think it's just kind of like Karma recycling for herself. And it works. I mean, now it's a 7 might Karma. That's a big body.
I love to see it. I might have to adapt this take. But I also want to say we did see a hidden card go under the Void Gate from Vves. And I don't know any other hidden cards that you can do in Fiora besides that Hidden Blade.
Yeah, and I think, I'm pretty sure what I saw Vves look at with the vision was a set. So, like, yes, you get the buff, but now you don't get to draw that set, which is also a pretty efficient unit. So the Karma's kind of got a drawback if that's the only way to trigger it. Again, I didn't see any others that I clocked. Maybe I missed one, or maybe the sideboard also has more options for Vves to trigger recycle on the Karma, because it's a cool card. Like, if you're able to trigger it multiple times, you can get multiple buffs. But so far, gotten 1. And the only Karma in the entire event, production did tell us no one else is playing this card.
I love to see it, and it's so true. The artwork is out here and pretty, but we're going to go ahead and flip over that hidden card, and yes, that was that Hidden Blade. We're going to go ahead and draw the 2 off of that and let RiftboundPlus score that conquer point.
Okay, it would have been a crash, but you don't want to lose the hidden. So,
and I don't think we want RiftboundPlus drawing any more turns, so or any more cards.
Yeah, you're not keeping that unsung hero alive regardless. So just get the advantage. But RiftboundPlus is in a really good spot. You're within 1 turn of winning. You're at 6 points. You only need 8 to win the game. That's either hold or conquer. You also have all of your runes unexhausted. Full turn to play.
I really hope that Vves has some type of counter spell in hand at the moment. Oh, I see it. Okay, period. So we've got a Death Grip, we've got a set, we've got a challenge, we've got the riposte, we've got a sabotage I think we have in there. He's flashing those so quick, y'all. I'm trying my best. Oh, thank you, bestie. He just spreading it about.
I feel like you probably riposte this just because...
Yes.
I mean, there's bigger spells to hit, but you want to keep your units. And I don't think we didn't see a unit in hand, right? It was just spells?
We saw set.
Oh, we saw set. Okay.
We saw set.
But no way to move him. So if we're trying to stay on the board and get points, riposting here is the way to at least make sure that we still have 2 units for now. Like, we don't know what else the Viktor has.
You can move the set because when he enters the field, he becomes mighty. Because of that Fiora, you can ready him immediately if you recycle that rune. I'm a Fiora main, baby.
That's
Get
a good
with
point.
it.
No, I'm happy you bring that up because maybe it's painful, but maybe you just let the Karma die. No, Vves is not going to do that. We are triggering something. I'm assuming
bow, bow, bow.
The power cost is the riposte.
Yes, so we're going to make sure that that doesn't go off. We're not trying to kill any units, and we're actually going to make our Fiora a little bit mightier. We're making her bigger. So if you really want to do something to her, now she has a little bit more might.
And even though RiftboundPlus has 6 runes, like even a Singularity doesn't clear this because the Karma's at 7 might, and the Fiora now is at 7 as well, right? Yeah.
Yes, so that Viktor is going to enter the board. We are going to channel a recruit, and we're going to pass turn. We got to get you off of these battlefields, but I think we have the means to do it.
Even more bodies will hit the board as this faithful manufacturer will presumably die and trigger that Viktor leader to allow you to play a 1 might recruit back to your base. And a lot of resources on RiftboundPlus' side. Also not necessarily on the clock, but the sabotage is huge.
I love to see it because now we're going to get that intel. There are 2,000-tailed watchers. He's thinking, yep. Let's go ahead and look at the Stupefy, the Imperial Decree, the Vanguard Armory, and the 2,000-tailed watchers.
I think it has to be Imperial Decree. If we don't have a riposte, that will just, we'll lose the board because they have 2 recruits. They can just Imperial Decree, send the recruits in, then send 2 other things in. They don't even need the 1,000 tail. So in my mind, it's an easy choice. unless Yves like drew another riposte, in which case you're like, okay, let's bait out the runes, and then they can't play the Thousand Tail with the Imperial Decree. But if you do that, I think if you're RiftboundPlus, then you probably just assume, oh, he's got another riposte. So now we get the mind games.
There's a lot of mind games happening in this game, man. I love it. This is Riftbound.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those moments where it's like you can really try and bluff your opponent. They don't happen often, but no, it's just a safe route. This is how I usually go. I'm just like, nope, just get rid of the thing that's going to lose me the game if the opponent just plays it.
And he did. And he did just like that as I'm trying to get the intel on the cards, man. But we're thinking here, so we've got the 2 might up at the Void Gate, and we got the 1 might down at the Sunken Temple. So we can move in and we can conquer these, but can we hold it?
And can Yves play more than just the set? I've seen 5, only 5 runes. So it's only the set.
It's only the set.
If you want to play another body, you can't play the Death Grip. You can't play the challenge. So like it's actually really tough, the amount of runes that Yves finds himself at.
I'm not sure what we drew on turn. It would be great if we got the Call to Glory, because then you could, for free, get that buff to be spent instead. But I'm really not sure if we have that in hand. I know we've got the Death Grip, but what can we do to make sure that when RiftboundPlus does swing back, because we're swinging and he's got to swing back, will we be able to still be standing?
So if we can have our card operator, I believe his name's Will. I'm going to check and then confirm it for next game. But if we could get Thousand Tail Watcher on the bottom right of your screen, that's the card to highlight right now, because that's on Yves' mind. You see it on the left of the screen, but you need to... You're assuming that a 7 might unit is going to hit the board next turn. That's going to make everything 3 might less. Plus, all the bodies that are already there. That's what? 8, 10. 10 might on the board for RiftboundPlus plus 7. That is 17. You need to defend against 17 when every unit you have is going to be -3 might. Like, that's tough. What do we have right now? It's 5 plus 7 is 12. So we're kind of close, but then that 12 goes to 6.
Yeah.
So you have 6 currently. You have to defend against 17. How are we going to do that?
This is tough. This is a tough one.
That's like,
Very
that's
scary.
almost impossible. Can Fiora do that? I mean, you've played a lot of Fiora. Like, what are your options?
To getting up to 17
like
might?
getting 11 additional might on your turn. Would it be like 2 punch firsts?
Yes, you definitely need to be drawing those punch firsts, but I don't think that we have those in hand, unfortunately. And it's also set getting those buffs to rapidly keep increasing the might, but
it's never the set. We know mathematically playing the set is not going to get us out of there. I like this call at least to try and dig. You know, you can use the Sunken Temple to exhaust a rune and draw a card. It's got to be something crazy.
It was punch first.
Okay.
It was punch first. He does the punch. Y'all, it might be saved.
Maybe.
It might be saved. There's no way.
4 runes up. There was a Death Grip.
There's also
first.
a challenge in hand, so maybe we target one of the units to maybe go ahead and get some of the other might off of the board before we get into re-swinging territory.
I think what you do here is you pass. If I'm Yves, I'm passing because you hope that RiftboundPlus just starts swinging in with little stuff and then like tries to trade, and then you can punch first, win the combat, heal. And then you still have the Death Grip to then like swap over to either side that the Thousand Tail goes in. And you hope that RiftboundPlus just like kind of, I hesitate to say misplays, but you give your opponent the opportunity to not play correct lines.
And that's what he did. He is going to pass. He's got those 4 runes still up. And we're looking at Riftbound plus readying his units, readying his awakening, his runes.
We got there.
And the Thousand Tail Watcher does come out. Yves does look a little scratchy.
Yep.
A little scratch.
I mean, we knew. We knew what was happening. RiftboundPlus had the rune ramp, and so this is all that is going to happen on RiftboundPlus's turn. No more runes to play. We already did the math. It was 7. Oh, I was 1 off, so it's actually 18. 18 might, because there's 2 from Manufacturer and Yordle, that's 4, plus the 4 from Viktor is 8, plus the 3 from the Recruits is 11, plus the 7 from Thousand Tails 18. So 18 might we have to deal with.
Whew. Man, this is scary times, but let's see how RiftboundPlus decides he wants to divvy this up.
And a reminder, with 1,000 Tail, everything's 3 might less. So that Fiora on the Sunken Temple is only 2 might. The Karma up on the Void Gate is only 4 might.
Correct.
There's a Punch First, there's a Death Grip, there's a Challenge. I didn't see any other spells, but I didn't get a clear look at Eve's hand, so maybe there's other surprises, but at least the things that I'm keeping my eye on are the Punch First and the Death Grip. If you play them correctly, I think Eves can actually get through this depending on how Riftbound+ approaches this turn.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is how do we, where do we send what units? Where do we go?
If like Riftbound+ deals with the... If you send 1,000 Tail first to like guarantee a hit, I think that's the correct line. But even then, I mean, like, oh man, it gets so tough. It gets so tough. Like,
they're both like,
I don't know what Viktor's supposed to do here. I'm not experienced enough as the Viktor or like in these like wide game states to know like what are you tracking, like which order do you attack? And my gut says attack with the 1,000 Tail first with like a 2 might or maybe like with the Viktor and just like establish a guaranteed take one. Oh, wow, this is tough. I'm happy I'm a caster and not a player because this would be like one of those moments I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, no, and I mean, if you look at these player cams right now, they're both low-key stressing. Like, this is tough, and this is like game point. They're both at 6 and 6. Like, it can either end here. We could go one more turn.
So I think that what Eves was deciding, that was a reaction window on the 1,000 Tail trigger. Eves was deciding, do I Death Grip now? Because you could actually Death Grip like the Karma and give the full 7 might to the Fiora before the debuff goes through from the 1,000 Tail Watcher. So that was what that kind of like thinking process was from Eves. But I agree. No, let it go through. I actually don't think the correct call is to jump because then the Riftbound+ can just send everything at you, and I think mathematically you lose at that point. Your only way to win this board state mathematically is allowing the Viktor to kind of send a couple units in and then tricking them and winning that combat, then re-healing at the end of the combat.
It looks like we're starting to get like a divvy up of what we're going to send in first. We've got the 1,000-tailed Watcher, the Lecturing Yordle, and one more unit up here at the top, and the other recruits are sitting down at the bottom with the Viktor. Not sure if that's going to be the final decision here.
I will say I think the Riftbound+ theoretically got a lot of information from Eve's decision there. You assume it's either a Triumph or a Death Grip. So you know that there's something, and either one of those would give enough runes for the Punch First on top of it. So Riftbound+, if usually in moments like this, you have to assume worst case scenario. You have to be like, okay, what's the worst thing that they could possibly do? Let's play around that. Can I win? If no, then the next like decision tree is, okay, well, what's likely that they have? And you kind of like start chipping away at that in the thought process, but we're making a choice here.
We're making the choice here. We're going in with 7, 2, so that's 9, and then 10, 11 might versus this Karma. What is going to be the response? How do we want to respond to this 11 might coming in?
So it's 11 on 4. Punch First does not defend here. I like this math from Riftbound+ because it's going to force both answers from Eves. But the problem is both answers from Eves only crashes. That would be 11 again. So Riftbound+ actually found the line. Look at that. Really, really smart. I'm so happy I was not in that seat because I probably would have messed that up.
Yes, and as we exhaust the runes, the Death Grip is going to come out. So we're going to give that might.
This is the line. Yeah, Eve's actually really heads up play because you know you can't win. If you send the Death Grip over to the other side, you only get +2, and the Punch First is +5. That's 7. That crashes, then you lose.
He just drew a riposte.
It's not going to get much value this turn.
Oh, there's no more spells to be played.
But important for potential future turns because I think he lives. It's -3 +4, so this is back to a 6 might. All the Viktor plus the recruits could clear it, but you see 2 runes up. It could be a Punch First. It could be well, not another Death Grip. So the interesting thing is Riftbound+, if it was Triumph and not Death Grip, actually loses the math there. If it's like Triumph plus Punch First. But it worked out at the end of the day. You score a point. You could just try and hold here as well. Like, Eves is still in the hot seat, but Riftbound+, like, let's see if he throws the bodies. Are the bodies going to hit the battlefield?
Are the bodies going to hit the battlefield? So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 on the side of Viktor. And then, yeah, Fiora is sitting here with 9 might, if I'm correct.
Minus 3, so 6, yeah.
So 6.
7 beats 6.
Yep, so we will have to swing with that punch first, likely. Oh.
Okay, this is the smarter
we're
play.
Saving the units.
Because even the punch first does not clear this. I think Vves is really hoping that RiftboundPlus would go for the other play. Because now not only do you need to get the Fiora back in action somehow, you also need to find how to clear how much is on that. That's 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 on Void Gate.
Lord have mercy.
That's why I was saying Vves isn't out of the hot seat yet. Like, you hold for 7, that's not enough to win. So you survived the crazy turn. That was a really stressful turn, but you're not out of the water yet. Like, you're out of the frying pan into the fire here because your situation arguably got worse.
Does Vves see the out here? What is the game plan? Counting up right now. How much might did you say that was?
I believe it's 16 because it was 7 from the Viktor and the recruits and then 9, or no, it's 11 from the others. So it's actually, what, 18 then? Yeah, 18.
Yes, 18. You are correct. Okay, the set does come out. Now, set can get big and get ready immediately. Let's see if he's going to be able to make it because what we're doing is he's played. He gets the buff. You can spin that buff in the turn.
Did he also tap? I didn't see how many he exhausted for the set to begin with because there's only 4 exhausted right now.
Because you recycle 1.
It should have been 5 recycle 1 and then the legend gets 1 back.
Right.
Which should have been, we're back to 5, but there's only 4 exhausted. So maybe he floated 1? I don't see a, I mean, the die would have been spent, I guess. Odd.
All right.
Interesting there.
We're spending that buff, so it's now an 8 might at the moment. Let's see what the next course of action is. We're exhausting 2 more. We're going to death grip. Oh, we're giving the might to the set, and then we're going to equip the Dorn's Blade onto the set. So that's 9 additional might at the moment. We're drawing, and we're equipping that Dorn's Blade. So we are making it bigger.
13 plus 5, 15.
So we've got...
This is enough with punch first. I'm amazed he had this many runes to work with.
And
I must have missed something there. Yeah, punch first, that's enough.
That's enough. Vves takes the win. The Fiora is going to continue on 8-1. What a great game, honestly. Congratulations to Vves, but RiftboundPlus, what an insane game.
34% win rate. Pulled it off. That is crazy.
Crazy.
I want to look back and see. Hopefully, I have time to check the tape to see what happened with the runes there. Because again, like it should have been the 5 exhausted for the set. So I must have missed something. I must have maybe he like floated one because he punched first at the end anyway. It's like you're gonna spend the power cost. So yeah. I always default to trusting the judges on the stage. I don't trust my own eyes very often. But like Vves, what a performance! Surviving that one turn.
Yes.
Was already an impressive feat. And then, because you have to hold with 2 bodies and the 4 runes up, and you only have like 2 resources, you're staring down 17 might, barely have anything to hold with, and he survives that and is able to make the push for the next play with that set, which was saved because he riposted and kept the karma alive. That was actually crucial too, because I was like, oh, maybe you don't riposte the Cold a Week, because then you can like next turn send the set in anyway, but he didn't need the riposte, he needed the set to win that game.
Oh my gosh, it was absolutely beautiful. I'm starstruck. Like the decision making, because this man, it felt like he was like 3 steps ahead. Yeah. Like he was already playing. We were on, I don't even know what turn. Say we're on turn 7. We were playing on turn 10 on turn 7, which is crazy to me. So I absolutely love to see just the skill expression there.
Incredible.
The death grip.
Yeah.
The on the Fiora to bring it over to the set and swinging, spending the buff so that he has so much. Absolutely gorgeous.
Great stuff. But I'm hearing that the interview's ready, so that's enough of us gushing over that win. Let's hear from the player themselves.
Gorgeous. It absolutely was. Such finesse as the rapier flies across the stage with Vves here piloting Fiora immaculately. Vves, I gotta say, right off the bat, how are you feeling? Because that was one of the most beautiful games of Riftbound I've ever seen from both of you.
I'm feeling elated. I'm just glad it's over because he was a really good Viktor player, and I was just, honestly, it's one of my worst matchups, I feel like, and I avoided it all day, so.
We talked about the matchup. The casters actually touched on it. Did you know, last week in Lille, and currently so far in the tournament, Viktor has a 66 or 67% win rate to beat Fiora, and here you are.
Yeah.
Proving those numbers wrong.
I built the deck to initially just kind of pat a little bit against the matchup, but I was just hoping more likely to avoid it. But
so let's talk about that, right? Yeah. So I was talking about you a little bit beforehand, and punch first at the end. Again, rewind those last little turns, right? Yeah. The riposte to keep both the Karma and the Fiora alive in that game 3. Yeah. You needed both of those units to make the math harder. Yes. Get some more of these units off of the board. And then, as your turn comes into it, set Brawler, ready it because of the Fiora Victorious.
Yes.
Death Grip, give it the might, equip the sword, punch first.
Yeah.
How many punch first did you even have in that game?
I side them out. I keep one in. So I saw it for turn, and not for turn, for the turn before, and I was like, this might be exactly what I need to win this game. So, and it came down to when he moved to the other side, he could have came to my side, and I'd have to punch first there, and I'm not sure I would be able to take the other field. But he went to that side, and God bless.
The scare tactics,
The scare
right?
tactics, yeah.
The puzzle that you had to solve there, the body and order combinations. We saw Colin play set yesterday, kind of navigate these sort of might puzzles that you really have to fight with, and you're already having to deal with all of the hard spot removal, so normally your might doesn't matter until it comes down to those turns at the end. I want to talk about your chosen champion, because Fiora Victorious was such a huge part of that victory, but that was not the chosen champion that you go into for the majority of when you play the deck, right? Especially like going first. But having that 3-drop and how important it is to stick on the board, and she stuck around for so long because then you had the Dorn's Blade equipped to ready her up, contest these battlefields early on. It's going well then, obviously, with this card.
I mean, the idea behind Fiora Worthy going into the second, it's not always going in. Against, like, let's say Ezreal or Kaisa, I'll still keep the Victorious because the tempo doesn't matter as much as you think against those matchups. You want to have the deflect. But against Viktor, they're just going to call you anyway if you play the Victorious, so it's too slow anyway. So I put in the Fiora Worthy to keep up with the tempo. And when it was staying alive for a turn, another turn, and I was thinking to myself, this is probably how I'm going to win this game. I need to keep this card alive as much as possible. And it was. So
that was exactly what happened. Vves, congratulations. Now I hear there's another Fiora out there that's also X1. I don't know the results of this match for them, of course, so keep up the good work. You already got a great start to day 2, but enjoy the rest of your rounds. We're gonna send it back.